everybody. Welcome to Wings on Katella, the Chris Iannetta, Darren Erstad, Matt Cullen, Ryan Kessler episode, number 17, if you weren't aware of that. We are Wings on Katella. We are all representatives of the Sporting Tribune, who presents this podcast. I should really work on my introductions. That was awful, but we're going to go with that. I am Taylorblakeward, managing editor for the Sporting Tribune. With me are my usual candidates, my panel of good friends and pals and buddies and amigos. I've got a weird one for just about each of you, except for Zach. I didn't have a weird question for Zach. So I'm going to start with Jack. Jack, how are you doing? How was Chris Stapleton last week? Oh, real quick, just so we don't have anyone to think we're talking Freeway Series today. Freeway Series was insane. We're going to talk about Freeway Series. We're going to talk about Ducks prospect news. We're going to talk about Radko Gudas and Mason McTavish a little bit. And we're going to talk about Zach Neto and Taylorblakeward and a lot of other things. On that note, Jack, how you doing, man? How was Chris Stapleton?
I'm doing good. Chris Stapleton was awesome. What I loved about his concert, that it was a concert, not a show. No flashing lights, nothing fancy, no video thing. It's just music and the way concerts are intended to be. So he was great. He sounded the exact same as he does when you're listening to it on your phone. So it was awesome.
He is on the list. I have been to shows and concerts, many more concerts than shows. I did see Coldplay with my wife, not my HR rep. And Coldplay puts on a very fun show. It's not a great concert. Chris Stapleton, quick thing. I'm assuming he played White Horse.
Yes.
Do you know the backstory of that song?
No.
He wrote that song about 25 years ago. There was a movie that Disney was doing called The Lone Ranger. Johnny Depp was in it. And they went to Stapleton and asked him, said, hey, can you do a song, blah, 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 all this thing. And that's the song he chose. And the suits that work for the mouse said, oh, that song sucks. It's never going to work. Would that be your walkout song at the moment? That's an amazing song.
So you're telling me he didn't make it because, oh my gosh, what's his name?
Eisner?
No, Hanzo Robles, his entrance song was like The Undertaker, and then he had like white horses all over the screens every time he came out. That's not why?
Yeah. No.
Wasn't his nickname El Caballo Blanco?
That was, man. And in Espanol, ¿qué es Caballo Blanco?
White horse.
There you go. My Spanish is really bad, but that worked. Zach, I've got a weird one for you. Are you familiar with Jim Fregosi?
I am aware of the man named Jim Fregosi, sure.
Did you know what number did Jim Fregosi wear during his playing career?
Oh, geez.
It's retired. It's
I
on
know
the
it's
board.
retired. It's on the wall. 18?
It's 11.
Oh, okay.
But I found out
there was
today.
Yeah.
So he came up in 1961. He wore 11 from 1962 to 1971 with the Angels. In 1961, He wore number 17. Found that out just now, right before this episode. So, fun little tidbit there. Tommy Lee Murray, you and I have scored a settle. I think Alex Call is a remarkably good-looking man. He's a remarkably good-looking man. That jawline is almost comparable to Joseph Newgarden, who is the best-looking of men. You seem to disagree and had a different candidate for good-looking man of the baseball season.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with his teammate, Yasung Kim, who is significantly much better looking than
You're
him.
a liar.
And is a very, very, very good dresser. I will add that.
I'll give you that. That one's fine. But you're a liar and a bad human being for disagreeing on me. Best-looking guy ever. Like, not even close. Brad Pitt doesn't even compare. David Freese, also a huge Smash Mouth fan. Love David Freese. On that note, let's talk some baseball. Freeway Series just wrapped up. The Angels go 6-0 against the Dodgers on the season, the defending World Series championship Dodgers. Zach, you're still shaking your head. You're still going at it.
I don't get it.
David Freese is the best-looking human ever.
Answer.
No, I'm not talking about David Freese. I'm talking about the Angels. I don't understand how that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what we're here. That's what we're here to talk about. Is strictly that scenario. What happened over the 3 days that just occurred, where Thomas and Jack were there? Jack, you made a comment in our text thread last night. Was this the most exciting series the Angels have played in the last decade? Now, we're not going to finish that text thread based on what I said because, math is hard, and I'm not a big mathematician here. But it's hard to say that this wasn't like one of the most exciting series they played in a very, very, very long time. At least since 2015.
Yeah, I mean, after the final game last night, or 2 nights ago now, because they had the off day yesterday, right? I think. Yeah. After the final game on my drive home, I was just thinking, like, that might have been the most exciting series in the last decade. Because the first thing that popped in my head was the one that you brought up in the text thread, the final game the final series in 2015 against the Rangers, when they're fighting for the playoff spot. They erased that 6-run deficit, I think, in the last inning to win it. And I was like, is there any other series that the Angels have played in the last decade that can compare to the excitement, just the thrilling baseball that they played? Not necessarily about playoff implications or anything like that, just purely an exciting series. The only other one that came to my mind was in 2022, they played the Rays at home in May. That's when Reed Detmers threw his no-hitter, and I believe they swept the Rays and pretty handily all 3 games, and I think they went up 11 games over 500. Don't ask what happened next after that. But yeah, I think this series, the series had everything. They had a comeback win, they had a walk-off win, and then they had a win where they just beat them. Against a team like the Dodgers coming off their World Series ring with all this hype and the $1 billion payroll and all that other stuff. But yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This was one of the best series Angels have played in a very long time. Excitement level, I got to give it to the Angels. They played really good baseball. Really, really good baseball. Thomas, you were there on the standard win night. Out of all 3 games, you were there for the least exciting, which was a very exciting game against Yamamoto and the Dodgers. Take me through that night a little bit. What are your thoughts? Because my initial back to the most hyped up series, I think the Angels were 15-3 in 2018, and Shohei tore his UCL. And it was Shohei versus the Red Sox. They were both 15 wins up. It was something else. So I don't know. I mean, how was this series for you, man? It was a fun series.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just going back off what Jack was saying, you can't forget, Jack, Zach's favorite Anthony Rendon moment happened in that Rays series, by the way. The left-handed home run.
Let's just clear the air here real quick. Anthony Rendon's only Angels moment.
No. You're completely forgetting when he slapped Jesse Winker in the face with one hand because he had a cast on the other.
So I guess you can have.
There is debate if that is the biggest hit he's had as an Angel.
What about when he
don't forget
yelled at the fan in Oakland?
Yeah, 2 years ago he swung.
That one I'm not going with.
But he swung and missed.
Between 2.
Yeah. He swung and missed.
It's a split between 2, man. It's the Winker or the left-handed home run.
Yeah, which Anthony Rendon injured list stint is your favorite?
Are both of his biggest both of his biggest hits as an Angel left-handed?
Yeah,
because wasn't that his left hand that he used to hit him with?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, Thomas, how was Monday night, dude? How'd you like the series? Oh my god.
Monday night was great. It was cool to be on the other side of the locker room to cover the road team for once. So that was actually kind of unique. Otherwise, no, it was a great series. Monday night, honestly, though, for the most part, it did feel like a blowout game until was it 8th inning, Jack? Shohei hits the solo shot, and then Max Muncy hits the 2-run or 3-run homer, or was it the 7th inning?
Either way, 7th or 8th inning.
Yeah, that's when Campero went down on that one.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. No, I mean that game was for the most part, it was utter dominance, and then It was really cool to see, though. Kenley Jansen came in, got the save against his old team, just like he did in the previous series in LA. Vibes in the stadium, though, were at an all-time high. I mean, I know that it was, overran by a lot of Dodger fans, but still, it was a lot of good vibes, honestly. From what I've seen on the internet, is that Wednesday night seemed to be the night where everyone started to try to kill each other. There's been a lot of fight videos emerging, but I'm not going to go into that.
No, I want to hit on that real quick.
Sure.
Don't be stupid. Just don't be stupid. Why are we doing this? Like, why does it matter that your fan base opinion is going to dictate that you want to go punch somebody or kick somebody?
Yeah.
Screw you. You're an idiot if you did that. If you want to fight someone over sports, you're an idiot. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. But otherwise, no, vibes were like an all-time high there. I mean, it was really cool to see. It really gave a glimpse, though, of what, and I said it when the Angels were in the right field, like at the beginning or at this point last month, middle of July. Just kind of gives the vibe of what this team could look like in the playoffs one day and what the atmosphere will be like in the stadium. And I think it's just something for you kind of get a glimpse of what the team could be in the future, really.
Yeah, if only they hadn't lost all those games coming out of the trade deadline that they didn't do anything at. Man.
Well, Zach, I wanted to go to you on that one. There's two ways to look at this Angels season. They go 6-0 against the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
They go 5-1 against the Red Sox. They go 3-1 at Yankee Stadium, and then you add
2-3 in Philly.
I didn't remember that one. That's right. So you had that one. So I got to even do better math than this. What was it? 2 out of 3 in Philly?
Yeah, in Philly.
So let me make that then. So I guess that's here we go. You messed up my math, but it works. So 2 out of 3 in Philly. 3 out of 4 out of Yankee Stadium, and they're also 7-0 against the Athletics. I have to throw that in there. So my point is, what do you think is more impressive? The fact that what's the point that you are looking at, Zach? The fact that they went 23-2 in Philadelphia, New York, against the Red Sox, against the Dodgers, against the Athletics, or the fact that they are 36-59 against the rest of the league?
So, again, this is an easy comparison to the Ducks side of things. The Ducks beat plenty of good teams in the middle of the season, and then they lost plenty of games to bad teams. The other thing I would add in with the comparison, what's the Angels' record in extra inning games this year?
I'd have to pull it up.
I think it's pretty good.
They have like 9.
It's actually very good. They're really good in one-run games. They're really good in extra inning games this year,
right?
Compared to other years,
even including one-run games. You look at, I think it was the Ducks 2 years ago. I think they were pretty good in overtime, and they still were what they were. Point with all that being, like, if those one-run games or extra inning games went the other direction, if those games against these, I look at the majority of the schedule has been underwhelming. And yes, there are these moments where they get these wins, but I think it makes it all the more frustrating and confusing. And not confusing. I think it misleads certain parts of the fan base. Because what I remember, at least on the Ducks side of things, there were plenty of people who were like, yeah, but look how they're in all these close games and they're tight and it's like, sure. But what happens when the ball bounces the other direction, or you don't get that strike call, or whatever it is, whatever analogy you want to go between the sports.
Well, CB Buckner was behind the plate, so no one got the strike call the other night.
right.
He's awful. Right. He's so bad, dude. He's worse than Angel. I'm sorry. I know that Angel Hernandez gets all the hate. CB Buckner's the worst.
Angel's gone now.
I know. Well, I can't wait for the day that CB joins him. He's so bad.
But the point to all that rambling and anecdotes is just that as good as this feels, it's not as close as people want it to be quite yet. Like, it's a good moment. It's clearly broken the Dodgers fan base online. It's kind of funny to see just the way that they're like, Angel fans are taking this, I think, in the right way online, at least, of being like, we're bad and we just swept you guys. Isn't this funny? Let's throw a parade. And they're like, yeah, well, we won the World Series and look at our ring. Like, cool. Where was it the last 3 days? And they don't know how to handle themselves right now because they're losing their minds. On that point, do you know there's only 5 teams that have swept a season series against the defending World Series champion with a minimum of 6 games? Can you name them?
Yeah, and it happened twice this year.
Twice this year. Angels being one of them.
Yeah, Angels and Brewers. Brewers
Angels
beat the
and Brewers.
Dodgers. The Brewers are 6-0 against the Dodgers this year.
Yep.
And
The last time,
then it
and
was
the other
like
three times.
2022.
The other 3
22.
times are in 1998 against the Marlins after the fire sale. So I don't know if
And
that counts.
that's Sarah Langs put that out, right? I think Sarah Langs did that one.
Yeah. Those were the Brewers, Giants, and Reds of the fire sale Marlins. So
Yeah.
I think the fire sale Marlins and this greatest Dodgers team of all time are on a little different scales.
I'm going to touch on that one too when it comes to the Dodgers. We're going to have a quick comment about that at a point here, but Jack, you have something here that you wanted to mention, and then I want to jump into this a little bit too.
Yeah, so I asked Ray Montgomery before Wednesday's game almost the exact same question you just asked Zach, but I worded it like, you've shown that you've beaten really good teams. What's that missing piece to find more consistency in the results, given what your record is now? And this was his response, word for word. We do it every night. We go back and we do autopsies of every game, and you look back at how close we were to winning a series, winning or sweeping a series, and or being on the right side of that equation. I think if you added it all up, it'd be about the stack of 4 papers. But again, it's just the inexperience, the timing, and just getting guys' performance and getting everybody lined up.
Again, I hate that I do this every time because I'm Ducks guy, but I swear to God, Greg Cronin said the same thing at some point in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
it's mind-boggling the similarities between the sides of the freeway right now.
It's a really good non-answer. It's a really good non-answer, right? I before we jump into the next part here, we all grew up in Southern California, right? The 4 of us all grew up in Southern California. So we have a familiarity between all of the Southern California sports teams. Angels, Dodgers, the last 3 days was the first time in my life I ever thought that the Angels and Dodgers had a rivalry. It was the only time in 34 years for me that I thought the Angels and the Dodgers had a rivalry, was the last 3 days. And it's just to show it's not a rivalry. I understand that the fan bases are separated and everything, but it's not a rivalry, right? Am I crazy for saying it?
It's a fan rivalry, not a team rivalry. I've always had the thought, it is hard to be rivals with a team that you don't play often. So, the Angels only play the Dodgers 4 to 6 times a year out of 162 games. How are you supposed to build a rivalry off that? Dodgers Padres, that's a rivalry because they're fighting for the division every year. Back when I was growing up, I always thought the Angels' rivals were the Rangers, kind of the A's, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. Because Red Sox and Yankees, they always met in the playoffs. The Rangers, they were always fighting for the division. The A's, they were always fighting for the division as well, but it was just the Angels would always lose to the A's in most annoying ways. So that's just kind of,
But it was always the Red Sox for me. When it comes to the Angels, it was always the Red Sox. And it's I think the Angels have played 10 playoff series in there. Whatever it is, right? It's the Red Sox and Angels have met in 75% of the Angels postseason series. So to me, a rivalry starts in the playoffs or with something significant. Now the Mariners, I understand completely right now. Mariners in the past, the Mariners are the ones that make the most sense division-wise. But it's always been the Red Sox for me when it comes to the Angels. I don't know, Zach.
Well, the thing that jumps out to me, prior to, I think, this recent run of Dodgers success, the other thing you would see is there's a lot of people that would just be a fan of both teams because they were in separate leagues. Yeah. And I think with the advent of year-round interleague, you're starting to get more division. And then I think on top of just the last decade of the Angels being down, the Dodgers being way up and kind of siphoning people in either direction, is starting to draw a little bit more battle lines between the fan bases themselves. And now that you add in some player, specifically Shohei jumping sides, and I think the fan atmosphere bleeds onto the field, especially when you're the Angels and you're the underdogs, and all of a sudden the stadium is behind you for once. But I think the fan intensity has ratcheted up in the last several years because of all of those factors, and it's not the same as it was even in 2002 or something like that.
And you mentioned something I think about the Ducks and the Kings, right? Those guys would go fishing together all winter long. Like, they were friends. Corey Perry's friends with Dustin Brown. Or
They're in each
I
other's weddings. Yeah.
Right. And like, you look at like Mike Trout was just on Mookie Betts' podcast. They're buddies. Like, Mookie and Trout are very good friends. Shohei, obviously very good friends with a lot of people. But you mentioned something. It's like a new cast. I don't know if Zach Neto has friends. I'm sure he has tons of friends. But, like, I can't imagine Zach Neto has friends on the Dodgers. And he kind of changes that. We're going to talk about Zach Neto a little bit more. Thomas, what are your thoughts on, like, does this feel like a rivalry outside of the last 3 days here?
I don't think it's not a rivalry by any sense. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a rivalry, but I think it's a series that people have always looked forward to. You know what I mean? Like, living in Southern California, like, everyone always got excited for Angels versus Dodgers. It's more of your friendly neighbor competition, I would say. I will say, though, that when I was in LA doing the series and we would ask guys, and I think Taylorblakeward was one of the guys we asked, he did say, I'm not exact quote. He basically said, though, it feels good to get a win over your rival, which kind of stood out to me. I don't think Angels-Dodgers is a rivalry. Giants-Dodgers is an all-time rivalry, and then I will say Padres-Dodgers is a rivalry, whether some people want to admit it or not. I know a lot of the players haven't really necessarily agreed to that, but I think it really is. It's been one of the best matchups in baseball every year.
I just thought of one more thing before you go, Taylor.
Yeah,
it is.
Like, I think the thing that is also key to point out here, I think if the Angels were better, this series wouldn't have meant as much. It's because this is the only thing they have going for them, or the thing that they have to play for right now is to beat this Dodger team and prove themselves in some way.
That's fair. I'm going to come back on that because actually we're going to transition into that thought process a little bit. But Thomas, the Padres-Dodgers thing, I think that's fresh, and it's just because for the first time, I mean, the two of the best teams in the National League for the last decade, or maybe not decade, but close to, Padres and Dodgers. And that makes it fun, is that they're both good at the same time. That's never happened before, where they're both good at the same time. And they're, proximity, other things along that lines.
We did kind of get a glimpse of that in the 2000s, though. I mean, the Padres team that lost in 2007 to the Rockies, right?
Yes.
In the NLCS, I mean, the Dodgers weren't the mighty Dodgers they are today, but they were still pretty good around that time.
It's reasonable. I had a thought process. Ha-Seong Kim, not that great.
Good looking guy though.
I'm going through our notebook. See, we had this where it was like all script. We were gonna stick to a theme and nothing. Zach, you mentioned something, is that this didn't mean as much to the Angels because they're not as good. I heard it too, Jack. Whatever it was, I heard it. Did you have a rocket go off in your backyard?
I think someone's using a drill outside because I think my neighbors are doing construction.
I could hear it. Did this series really mean anything in the big picture? Because I'll tell you what it meant for me is I had to start making phone calls with Rick Tapia and Arash Markazi yesterday. Markazi, our boss, the guy that pays the checks, signs the checks. I had to call them yesterday because the Angels are within 5 games of a playoff spot. And the Dodgers are within 5 games of not being in a playoff spot. So we had to start planning. You guys know this. We're planning for high school football stuff. We're all doing high school football except for Jack, which we'll touch on later. But we have to prep for our Fridays. We have to prep for our Saturdays because of college football and things. I had to start prepping for the postseason. And the phone calls yesterday were prepping for – these are emergency scenarios, but what if the Dodgers don't make the playoffs? What if the Angels do make the playoffs? And it's we're not expecting that at all on either side of that. But at the same time, we do have to prep for it. Did this series, in your guys' mind, sway us to the point of oh crap, we have to prep for that? I don't know. I mean, it definitely mattered more to the Dodgers. This series mattered more to the Dodgers than it did the Angels. But did it move the Angels? Was it a needle mover for the Angels? And was it a negative needle mover for the Dodgers? Thomas, your thoughts?
Well, it's definitely a negative needle mover for the Dodgers. Now you're second place behind the Padres in your division, and the Padres have been really hot since the deadline. And this weekend's going to be a huge series for them, and I'm looking forward to watching that. In a sense, though, this series was a needle mover for the Angels. I don't, the players are always going to say, yeah, we're going to go for the postseason. That's our goal, yada, yada, yada. I don't think they're a postseason team personally, but I do think this is a needle move of moving forward as an organization for, next year or maybe the year after, where your chances of making the postseason are a lot higher. And I think Kenley Jansen put it into, just put it into perspective after Wednesday night's game. Just said, telling these young guys, believe in yourselves, keep doing this, keep fighting, keep working hard, trying to win these games. Playing these kinds of moments, these kinds of games, they're experience moments for the young core. That's the Angels right now. The thing we've talked about. Angels right now, they're only 4 wins away of matching their win total of last season. So, it's just another step forward in the right direction for this team and where they're headed. So I think it's just, they're learning, they played a big time baseball game and they pulled it off. And that's going to be huge one day. Experience is everything.
Yeah, I agree. The one thought that I missed with you, Thomas, that I was told dead blur on. Yeah. You said Taylor Ward called the Dodgers a rival. Taylor Ward was 12 hours away from being a Dodger, so that was just funny to me. Slow side note. Jack, needle mover series for either team?
In the moment, no. But it could, because if you look at the Angels weekend series, they're in Sacramento. I almost said Oakland. They're in Sacramento, and they're 7-0 against the A's this year. If that trend continues, and say they sweep the A's for some reason, that puts them pretty close to a wild card spot. If the teams ahead of them don't have a great series this weekend either. They're 5 games out right now. If they sweep this weekend, I'd have to look at who Texas, Kansas City, and Cleveland are playing this weekend. But they could, at the end of this weekend, be like we always say, well, they're in the mix, but that's used lightly. They could really be in the mix for a playoff spot this weekend if they take care of business against the A's like they have done the previous two series. Granted, they then play the Cincinnati Reds, who have a winning record, the Chicago Cubs, who are really good, the Texas Rangers, who have a winning record, and the Houston Astros, who are really good after that. So they can put themselves in the mix, but then they have a tough road ahead of them.
I mean, we're sitting in the dog days, right? For some teams, the dog days have started. You see with the Dodgers, have the dog days started for the Angels? It felt like it last week, but after this, are the dog days passed? Are they starting? And like you said, they could pick up 2 games on the wild card, right? And suddenly, by the end of the weekend, we're talking about the Angels being 2.5, 3 games out of a wild card spot. Are they 5 still this morning?
Yeah, they're 5 right now.
5.
5 right now. So they pick up 2 games on, who is it, the Yankees and the Mariners? Is that it? Yankees and Astros?
It's Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners.
Right. What if, say a psychotic thing, they could be within 2 games of a wild card spot by Sunday. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but they could be within 2-3 games by Sunday of a playoff spot. And then you said, you play some challenging teams after that, but you just saw what they did with what is supposed to be the most challenging team. It's not, but what is supposed to be the most challenging team. I don't know. It's interesting.
So, really quick. After this A's series, they play 16 straight games against teams with better records than them. It's going to be tough.
But as Thomas pointed out, that is the competitive. What are these boys going to do? Because this team is full of boys. As much as they are grown men, there's no doubt about it. They are grown men, but they're boys. So what are these boys going to do during that time? Zach, your thoughts? Needle mover series, this Freeway Series?
For the Dodgers, potentially, just because If anything, it's a wake-up call. But what they're doing will mostly be defined by this Padres series on the weekend, which I'm sure will be electric. As far as the Angels go, I think it's a good feather in your cap looking towards next season. Like as teams sort of need to, we've all said this with the teams we cover. Teams need to learn how to win, and there is that inconsistency that they're going to have to figure out, but they've clearly not figured it out this season. Because I think when you're saying which Angels team do we have here, is it the one that just went into a fist fight with the Dodgers and came out with the 3-game sweep, or is it the one that after the deadline kind of laid down and lost, 5-6 in a row? And again, just the months of bodies of evidence to back up that this team isn't what we saw over the last 3 games. The last 3 games are a nice feather in your cap. Celebrate it, enjoy it, but what does that mean going forward? Not in what you were talking about in terms of where we will see what this Angels team really is. Like, yeah, the next week they need to kind of keep it together with some of these teams that are higher than them record-wise, but they just need to prove themselves against some tough teams. But this road trip that they have at the end of the month, at Texas, at Houston, at Kansas City, that will show you what this team is or is not. Can they go into a road environment and either keep themselves in this thing or catapult themselves back into the wild card race, truly into the wild card race? That will kind of tell you really what this team is. With a month to go, too.
They haven't been at this point ever in the last decade, right, Jack? I mean, we're talking about the Giant G game, the game 162 kind of thing. Like, they haven't been at this point in August, and because even that trade deadline in 2023, that fell apart immediately. They were not
straight
where they
right
are.
out of the deadline.
Yeah, that was atrocious in 23. But this is, I'm not going to sit here and say we're talking about October. The other thing, I don't know if it came across, Zach, you said a wake-up call for the Dodgers. I think this was a substantial series loss for the Dodgers. And what happens this
6
weekend?
6-20 in the last 26 or something like that?
What happens Friday, Saturday, Sunday up at the Ravine this weekend with the Padres, that is monumental because we think about, obviously we focus on the Angels, right? But let's switch gears to the National League. You have 2 teams that spent $1 billion on their roster. You also have 2 teams that surrendered their top one surrendered maybe the best prospect in baseball and the rest of their farm system. The other surrendered some serious prospects in the Phillies. So someone, whether it's Brandon Gomes or AJ Preller or David Stearns or Dave Dombrowski, someone's going to look like a buffoon come early October, mid-October, maybe late September. And right now, the Dodgers are looking like that team, sadly. I mean, it's like, I say sadly because I'm a Southern California guy. Like, that's, I want to see Southern California. I want to see the Padres and the Dodgers in the NLCS. It won't happen because of another great Rob Manfred choice. Someone's going to look stupid. And it's going to be, hey, I wanted to come to this, and Angels connection. The Logan O'Hoppe, Brandon Marsh trade looks really good on paper for both sides. Both sides, it looks great. There's one way to look at it is the value of each team gets this. Brandon Marsh played in the World Series for the Phillies. He played in the World Series for the Phillies. He's played in serious games. Until Logan plays in a championship series or a World Series for the Angels, Phillies won that trade, man. They made it to the World Series. That's the goal. Winning the World Series is the ultimate goal, but getting to the World Series is the part. Someone just spent insane prospect capital or insane money to get to the World Series, and there's 3 other guys that aren't going to do it, and they're going to look like buffoons. I think this series proved that the Dodgers spending $1 billion still didn't answer the issues that they had at hand of their bullpen is not good enough to sustain what their pitching and offense can do, and their offense still continues to be streaky outside of your front 3. And Mookie Betts has not had a good year, so even your front 3 can be tricky. So I don't know. Maybe I'm psychotic, but like looking at this series, what the Angels just did to the Dodgers exposed them as potential buffoons come late September, early October. I don't know.
Maybe, but they also have proven to be quite good in the playoffs.
That's true.
So
have the Phillies.
I think. And
I mean,
if anything, as we've seen with the baseball and especially the current format of the playoffs, if anything, maybe this is the right time for the Dodgers to have a swoon, and then they can ramp their way back up into the playoffs and get hot going into October. I mean, that's not, you don't plan for that necessarily, but
we've seen October be a time where teams get hot, and that's what matters. It's more about, I mean, like, I think that week off, the bye week that baseball is giving the 1 seed and 2 seed, it's proven that if Jack, you know this, give a hitter a week off, that's an awful thing. Timing is atrocious. Pitching works. Pitching is fine. That's actually a good thing for pitching, but for hitting, there's a reason the Dodgers haven't hit in the playoffs for a couple of years because they're the number 1 seed or whatever. So you might be right, Zach. It could be the wake-up call, and it could be the momentum forward. 2 things we kind of touched on but didn't touch on that I wanted to touch on. See how I did that? Sets of 3. It works real well. You guys mentioned Zach Neto. You guys mentioned Taylorblakeward. I think Zach Neto has progressively blossomed into a star, and this Freeway Series really showcased that he's not just a good baseball player. He's a star. He's a legitimate star. I was looking at it just now. His 162 average WAR, 5.2. He's averaging 24 home runs per 162 games, 27 stolen bases. He's a above average league hitter. He's a good defender. 5.2 wins per 162. That is essentially a 70 grade player. If you're talking 20 to 80 grade scale, it's a 70 grade player. That's a star. Literally, the term you use for 70 is star. Guys, Zach Neto, right? Like, I know that maybe he's not the Bobby Witt, maybe he's not this guy yet, but he's definitely starting to blossom into becoming that kind of guy. Hi, Jack. I see you waving. Hello, Jack.
It's funny you mentioned Bobby Witt Jr. because I have some numbers for you here. So last year was Zach Neto's first full season in the big leagues at 23 years old. In that season, he hit .249 with a 761 OPS, 5.1 WAR. In Bobby Witt Jr.'s first full season as a 22-year-old, he hit .254, 722 OPS, 0.9 WAR. In Zach Neto's second full season this year, he's got 4.2 WAR so far in 102 games, 269 average, 803 OPS. In Bobby Witt Jr.'s second season, he had 4.3 WAR in a full 158 games while hitting 276 and 813 OPS. So they are right there with each other. Now, I'm not going to say Zach Neto's going to have a 10 WAR season next year or that he's going to be putting up the production that Bobby Witt Jr. has and all that, but it's fair to say he's got room to be a legitimate top 5, maybe top 3 shortstop in baseball for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to when he was drafted. I remember it was just unexpected. I didn't have Zach Neto as someone that was on the Angels' radar, and I get the text from every year. I get the text from someone that's in the Angels broadcast booth saying, "Hey, what do you think of this pick?" And I sat there and said, "Well, you know what? Like, realistically, this guy hits, he fields, he runs. I'm like, you just got your everyday shortstop for the next 6 years. That's a pretty important pick." I did not nowhere in that did I say, "Yeah, this guy's gonna be a star. He's gonna be an all-star. Maybe he's got one in him." I was wrong. I mean, I thought he was an everyday shortstop, which I think value-wise incredibly important. I just seeing what he is now, and I think part of it is the personality as well. I mean, this guy plays with serious fire. I mean, he took Tariq Skubal yard twice this season. In my opinion, and it's not close, he's the best pitcher since Chris Sale was dominant. Good. He's incredible. Tariq Skubal's great. Took not Jordan Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He took him home.
And not Kyler Yamamoto either.
No, not Kyler either. The other Yamamoto. The one that's actually from Japan. Not the guy from... Kyler's from Seattle. Jordan is from Miami. And Yoshi is from Japan. So there you go. See? I know my stuff.
You know your Yamamoto's.
I know my Yamamoto's very well. Very big fan of Yamamoto's. But either way, Zach Neto is taking the best pitchers in the game yard. He's doing it progressively because Yoshi Yamamoto, all-star caliber player, all these things. This guy is just doing it at the biggest moments. He's got flair, and he's putting up the numbers. Thomas, Zach Neto, is this a star? Am I crazy for saying he's a star?
No, you're not crazy at all. Honestly, I thought he was snubbed to being. I'm being honest. I don't think. Well, shut up.
Different kind of crazy, man.
Different kind of crazy. No, I don't think you're crazy for saying he's a star. I think he is gonna be a star. I believe he was snubbed to being an all-star this year. Personally, he's been great all year, though, man. I mean, he shows out when under the bright lights and the big moments. And Angels haven't had a guy like that in a long time. With runners in scoring position this year, he has a slash line of 319, 383, 536 with 31 RBIs and 10 extra base hits. I mean,
it's impressive.
Yeah, no, and he's consistently just came through in clutch situations all year. I think he's gonna be like one of the top shortstops in baseball. And Taylor, if I'm correct, remembering when Zach Neto was drafted, didn't they say he couldn't really play defense? That was like his big
No.
It's like he was supposed to be a second baseman.
No, they thought he was going to move to third because his throwing decisions were really interesting. He wanted to fight. Remember, he was a pitcher too at Campbell, so he was a two-way guy at Campbell. He was up to like 95, 96 on the mound, and he would just throw 95 across the diamond. And it's like you can't do that. You got to pick your spots, kind of thing. And you've seen it at times defensively where he tries to overthrow. But no, defensive foundation-wise, he was going to play shortstop. And that's what I'm actually pulling up right now is Zach Neto has played strictly shortstop this year. 102 of the 121 games the Angels have played, he's been a shortstop. That's a very impressive mark.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I think,
I was going to say, Angels fans are going to like this. If you go to his splits for his career, highest OPS against any team that he's played, Los Angeles Dodgers. He's got a 1,200 flat OPS against the Dodgers. He is hitting
games?
353, 10.
10.
Hitting 353, 3 home runs in 10 games. That's 43 plate appearances. 735 slug. That's not bad, huh?
No, that's not bad at all. That's 36 plate appearances? How many did you say?
43.
43. That's a lot more than 36. Zach, there's two things, and I'm going to you to be Mr. Negative because that's just life. That's the way I treat things. The one knock on Zach, kid loves to swing. Doesn't walk a whole lot. He loves to swing. He doesn't. I know it's a Zach thing, man. No, he doesn't walk a lot.
Yeah.
Just thinking about Zach Neto, looking at Zach Neto, the overall player, do you think there's a regression point, or do you just think this is going to keep growing? I mean, we agree. He's putting up star power numbers. He's playing like a superstar. Is there a regression point, maybe?
Before I answer that, Yamamoto in Japanese means base of the mountain. On Zach Neto, I have been, as somebody that's been disillusioned with top Angels prospects for quite some time because they come up and you're like, oh, here they come, and then they evaporate. I've been quite impressed with Zach Neto, and triple play aside, I think I think he's got something, man. Like, he has this compete in him. Like, again, I've only been to Angel Stadium to cover one game this year, and we got to talk to Neto that day, and I got this kind of aura off him of like, this is a competitor. This is a guy that's gonna like get his nose in there and really give you all he's got. And I think you see it in series like this Dodgers series, and I think you're seeing more and more of that translate into his actual on-field production, and that's the kind of guy you want to hitch your wagon to. Like, I was, again, very small context, and I'm sure I know we've talked about this, but that was the day I went was the day that Neto almost rushed the mound against the Astros, and Christian Moore was right there with him, and Moore was like, "Nah, man, that's my shortstop. That's my leader." Like, he came into his locker room and very clearly understood that Zach Neto's a guy that we hitch our wagon to because he's going to be the emotional driver of this team. And I think you see it in this series, and I think you see it going forward.
Well, and as a hitter, you have to be fearless. I mean, you're a little bit defenseless as a hitter, and to a degree, right? And Zach Neto is 100% fearless. There is not someone that you always hear about. Pitchers are imposing presence on the mound. You always hear that term. You don't hear, oh, he's imposing at the plate. You hear he's a threat. Maybe one guy ever, and it was Barry Bonds, which he was all right. He was okay. Zach Neto has
giant
no
armored
fear.
elbow over the plate, yeah.
Yeah, Zach Neto has no fear when he goes up there. You see it. It's impressive, and it's something you can't put on paper. It's definitely something you can't put on paper, but it's very impressive to see what Zach Neto's doing. I always said Logan O'Hoppe would be the face of the Angels franchise since they acquired him, basically. Definitely wrong. Right now, at this moment, even above Mike Trout, Zach Neto is the face of the Angels franchise right now at this moment.
And he's one hell of a leadoff hitter.
Sure is.
Because first batter of the game, he'll put you up 1-0. And he's done it 8 times, which is the second most in baseball behind some dude in the Dodgers named Shohei Ohtani or something like that.
Heard him.
When he's the first batter of the game, he's hitting 288 with a 977 OPS.
Jeez. That's impressive. That's actually really impressive. That's 977 OPS leading off the game.
Yeah.
That's really remarkable. One of you guys mentioned something, and I would have loved to have remembered it. I keep forgetting things and all that stuff, but
Triple play, Zach Neto.
triple play. That's the one right there. My God, what
You reacted when I said it, so yeah.
That's the one. Highlight reel for the career highlight reel right there. Like, lead it all off. The YouTube, throw in some Biggie behind it because they call him Big Papa. Throw in Big Papa, right? Big Papa, Biggie. Hit that triple play, front of the highlight reel. You're welcome, Zach. Do that for the rest of your life. I'm not going to say it's the most impressive play I've ever seen, but that was something special, wasn't it, guys? Jack, you were there, Jack. You were at the stadium. I texted you. Thomas, you weren't there that night? That was when Fredo had Dodgers?
Yeah, that was Tuesday night, I believe.
Sorry about that, pal. Jack,
I was
what was
watching
that
the movie,
like,
man.
It was interesting because you see him catch it and the ball took his momentum to the bag, and as soon as he caught it, you see him automatically break to the bag. And once he took 2 steps, that's when it clicked in my head. I was like, he's got a real shot at a triple play here. Because I looked over and was it Rushing at first?
Yes. Yeah.
I think
Rushing.
yeah. And Rushing was looking at Neto as he was running towards the bag, so I was like, oh, he's screwed. And sure enough, and then Rushing obviously takes that fall, but
it's a bad decision by Dalton, but still.
Yeah, it was like you said, it's not the most it's not like he made the most impressive athletic accomplishment on the field, but
it's right place,
right place, right time at a good heads up play to have the instincts to immediately go to the bag and think triple play.
That's what I was going to say is, remember if you're not in the NBA and you can take 20 steps to the net, in amateur basketball, you can take 2 steps, right? 2 steps to the net on a layup. It looked exactly like that. It was catch, first step, second step bag, throw before you even took the third step. It was a layup triple play. It was a total triple play layup. It was awesome. Jack, you've got a confusing look on your perplexed.
No, it's something we're going to talk about in a second. So.
Oh, yikes. Well,
no, it's a good thing, but
I think that means we can move on to it. Is our next theme? I've got it right here in front of me. Our script here. So I mean, we're all agreeing Zach Neto becoming a superstar. One guy that is underrated is Joseph Ward, better known as Taylorblakeward, the left fielder for the Angels. But his name is Joseph Taylorblakeward, named after his father, and he has put together not only a good season this year, where he is among the league leaders and all standardized old-timey stats, because I'm a dinosaur. And did you guys like that photo? T-Rex, the Jurassic Park with the bat and the ball cap? Come on. I said that to Eno RS one time and said Jurassic Park factors, because I like batting average and WAR and WOBA. So Taylor Ward. Thanks, man. Taylor Ward's had a heck of a season. I pulled up some numbers of his from basically when he clicked, because it took him a while to click as a big leaguer. He didn't really register until he was about 27 years old, post-COVID kind of thing. Jack, you were the one that brought this up, so I'm going to let you lead this off, then we're going to go to Thomas, then we're going to make our rounds, and Zach, you and I can wrap it up on Taylor Ward, Joseph Taylor Ward.
Yeah, so the Spark notes of it, this year he's on pace for 39 home runs and 120 RBIs, which is insane in itself, especially when you consider the slow start he had to the season. If you remember, he hit that go-ahead grand slam in the 9th inning in San Diego back in May, and he's kind of been a completely different hitter since then. Now, caveat to that, he had been swinging a pretty good bat the week before leading up to that home run, but he didn't have the home runs hit. But then either way, that moment for him was a turning point. Since then, since that grand slam that he hit, he's hitting .258 with an .886 OPS. That's a 142 weighted runs created. Plus, with 19 homers, 68 RBIs. In that stretch, this was yesterday that I posted this on Twitter, so the numbers might be slightly off with his ranks. But in baseball, second most RBIs, 13th most homers, 13th highest slugging, 15th most Fangraphs WAR, 16th most weighted runs created plus, 16th best OPS. So that's been the turning point for him.
A top 20 position player.
Correct. And the reason why I was making that very concerned face was because I looked at Fangraphs right now to check out the updated leaderboards for outs above average among left fielders in baseball. Yesterday when I checked, Taylor Ward was 5th. Today when I checked, everyone must have had a horrible game yesterday, because Taylor Ward now ranks number 1 among left fielders in outs above average with 3. So I don't know if I'm doing this wrong. I just pulled up the leaderboards right now. I don't know if there's any way I could have done this wrong, but it looks like he jumped from 5th to 1st in 24 hours, and he didn't even have to play.
Love it. I think part of that's really undersold is when Taylor Ward was drafted, it was a defense first, kind of almost a defense only catcher. And Jerry DiPoto loved it. He was the catcher of the future for the Angels. It's like the 26th, 27th overall pick. It was a surprise selection in the first round. And then he goes and he kind of can't block and receive as well as people thought. He still had the arm. So they move him to third base. Billy Epler moves him to third base and find out he can't really play third base, but he starts hitting. Then they move him to right field, where I thought he was actually really good in right field. And now it's left field. And like you said, it may not look as pretty as it is, but among the best defensive left fielders in the game, while also hitting at what would be concerned. What you're talking about is 80 grade power. If you hit 40 home runs in a season, that season you had 80 power. That is top of the charts. The Angels' history, it's only been done, 8 times by 4 different guys. And these guys all have something in common. They're either named Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Troy Glaus, or Albert Pujols. Those guys are fairly well known for, power to a degree. Taylor Ward is really. I think this is the thing with Taylor that blew my mind is I started watching him climb the offensive charts of the Angels organization. This is a guy that you don't only just put as a poster at the front of your stadium. This is a guy that, looking back, this is one of the better players in your franchise history. It's really impressive. That's a tough thing to do. So I found that really cool. Thomas, going to you on this one. Taylor Ward, underrated?
Yeah, I would say he's underrated. I mean, he's always been a guy that's just been kind of under the shadow, you know what I mean? Hidden in the background, but he's always been a really, a pretty good baseball player. When he just ranks across the league. I mean, this year is really, what was it, last year? I think we were all he was having his breakout year. What did he finish with? The 25 home runs, and he's eclipsed that this year. He's at 29, and like Jack said, he should on pace to finish with 39, correct?
Yeah, and that's why I said 40 home runs this year. He has a legitimate shot at 40.
I mean, yeah, he does have a legitimate shot. I mean, yeah, no, he's always just been a really quiet guy though in baseball, and it's just if he was on any team, like, I like I said, I don't think the Angels are going to make the playoffs, but I think if he was on any other team that was in a playoff caliber team this year, I think he would be a guy that people would be like, oh, who the is this guy? Like, oh my gosh, I think he would emerge on the scene and just really blossom out there. He's always just been really underrated though. Quiet guy in the background.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why he always has trade talk. I think teams like him. I think teams want to have a player like Taylor. Who wouldn't want to have a player that's putting up that kind of offensive performance in left field? That that you could at least swing him over to right field and retain that value.
Who wouldn't want Taylor Ward? Period.
No, everyone wants Taylor Ward, baby. Everybody wants Taylor Ward. The LA Kings want Taylor Ward.
If you don't have a Taylor Ward on your team, what are you doing? We've got one.
Kings got one.
I mean,
who's the
Minnesota Duluth has one, baby. Minnesota Duluth has one too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's a Taylor Ward there.
He's a head coach there, isn't he? There was one that was Minnesota Duluth had a Taylor Ward that I think ended up on the coaching staff. So either way,
there's also I've never met this person, but there's also a Taylor Ward at the University of Laverne. I just remember seeing the name on the class roster one day.
Nice.
Who's your favorite Taylor Ward?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know.
Subscribe. Click the link right here. Zach, thoughts on Taylor Ward, man? Thoughts on Joseph Taylor Ward? I know he's not a Zach like Mr. Neto, but
Taylor Ward, pretty good, man.
Good stuff.
I really don't have as much to say about Taylor Ward. He's been a guy that is under the radar, and to me at least, he puts up numbers, and people are expecting him. I hear people saying, "Oh, well, he's gonna keep doing this." Is he though? He hasn't been as big of an impact in my overall scheme of keeping track of the Angels from afar. But if he can, if any of these guys blossom when they're not supposed to, great. Good. That's what you want.
He's sitting in the middle of his peak years. I mean, I pulled up from 2000 post-COVID to right now, right? That's age 27 to 31 seasons. That's the peak of your career. And in the peak, he is, I've got it here, averaging 30 doubles a year, 28 home runs a year, 88 RBI, which blows my mind. This is per 162, not per year, but per 162 over the span. 87 runs. I mean, I know we're going old school with it, but if you're sitting in the mid 80s on runs, RBIs, 28 home runs per year, 30 doubles per year, that's here, that's 60 extra base hits a year.
It's almost as if he would have been worth something at the trade deadline.
Almost if. He still will be next year, buddy. And 3.1 WAR per 162 over that span. So, speaking of Taylors, I really tried hard to get a guest on the show today, guys. For whatever reason, she opted to go to a different podcast, hang out with her boyfriend, whatevs, don't really care.
I was going to say that was my big news for the week.
Yeah, I don't really give
in the group chat. That was my big news.
Because I don't really give a rat's turd about it. Some big album release stuff. So Zach, just to go before we jump off of the Angel stuff, is TS12 going to be better than Speak Now? Because Speak Now is the pinnacle of Taylor Swift albums.
You're wrong. First of all,
that's incorrect. But okay.
Secondly, if I'm going based off of the way that she described it and the way that Travis Kelce described it, it's certainly more up my alley. I've been we as the Taylor Swift fandom, especially in my household, have been waiting for her to go back to straight pop bangers since, she did her RT stuff with the Folklores and the Evermores, which are really good, great storytelling, wonderful pieces of art. Midnight's kind of got you back there. I liked it. Torture Poets is a very personal, emotional vomit that she just needs to get out of her system, and not vomit in a bad way, just in terms of getting it out. Because I think there is a lot of good stuff on there, but it's really just kind of melancholy and blah. And she's like, no, 12 songs, straight pop bangers, pop melodies with the storytelling lyrics of your Folklore Evermore. And to that I say, in my veins. Life of a Showgirl, August 3rd or October 3rd. I'll be there. I'll be right there.
Be hanging out on a beach,
waiting
man.
Waiting on my Apple Music.
I'm gonna be Dirks Bentley somewhere on a beach at that point.
I have a confession to make.
Go for it.
I realized why I thought he was fifth. Why Taylorblakeward was fifth in outs above average yesterday, because I didn't have the setting set for qualified outfielders. So when you remove qualified and you just have everybody who's played left field, he does move down to fifth. Isaac Collins, hell of a ball player from Milwaukee. Could be rookie of the year. Sorry, my baby cousin's over. We're babysitting her. So if you hear crying, that's why.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. It gives me time to tell Zach that he is wrong. Speak Now is the best Taylor Swift album. It's not close. Sparks Fly is the banger of all bangers, excluding the moment I heard Reputation and Ready for It is the first track. And out of nowhere, you're like, who the hell is this Taylor Swift and where has she been for the last 20 years? Reputation, number 2, second best album, because it's freaking dope. And on that note, we're moving to Ducks chatter, unless you guys have something else on anal stuff. Zach, you're wrong. You're wrong.
You have such wrong opinions here.
You're so wrong.
Oh my God. Reputation.
We'll jump on this. My wife is a massive Swiftie. Okay, I'll give you this real quick.
Gotta go back to 1989. That's all.
No, it's awful. Real quick, I saw Taylor Swift live in concert twice in 2006. 2006. Now, Jack, I know that you and I have debates on what a decade is, but that's almost 2 decades ago. So, not the biggest Swiftie in the world. We had that talk last week, but my wife is big Swiftie. So if there's Taylor Swift news, we're going to have to talk about it. She might have been our special guest this week. Thomas, what were you going to say? Something about Ozzy Osbourne?
No, not Ozzy. It was going to be Taylor Swift news. I'll have some Taylor Swift news next week, and I'm not going to go much more into that, but you actually know about that, Taylor. So
I got to go through my text.
I was going to say, Taylor doesn't look like he knows about it.
Yeah, all right, I'll text you. I'll text you. I'll remind
something
you.
About Jason Kelce. By the way, Jason is the better of the 2 Kelces. They're both cool, but Jason is better. Let's switch gears here. Jason's dope, dude. I saw the rolling eyes. Jason's dope.
No, he's good. I'm not saying he's bad, but we're just like ignoring facts here, I guess. So that's fine.
Go Birds.
Shut up. Okay, on that note, Thomas, you've been kicked off. We've gone off the rails. This is nowhere in the script. Alex Cole is way better looking than Hyseung Kim. Speaking of all that...
Speaking of birds.
Speaking of birds, one of the bird prospects is heading to Providence for the foreseeable future. Roger McQueen announces that he is going to play hockey and attend the University of Providence. Zach Kavanaugh, with all your wrong opinions, I expect you to have a good one on this one. Explain to me, like I'm 5 years old, what this means.
So if you go to thesportingtribune.com, there's a story titled What This Means for Roger McQueen and his Ducks development. But to summarize, that was without any sort of comment from him, which credit to Andrew Knoll, who wrote a story for RG Media talking to Roger. But Roger's quotes there sort of confirmed everything that we had sort of speculated in the weeks since the news sort of trickled out that this was what he was considering. Roger McQueen, the number one thing with Roger McQueen when the Ducks drafted him, or when anybody was looking to draft him, is the back injury okay? Because he had this stress fracture in his lower spine that gave people a lot of doubts for a guy that's 6'5" and is going to fill out his frame. All the doctors have said he's good. He said his doctors say he's good. The Ducks did plenty of medical research. They say he's all good. But to accent that and to try to help that, everyone sort of said that the move to college was probably the best move for him in that regard. This is a new thing where guys that played in Canadian Junior can now go to the NCAA thanks to all the NIL rules and things like that have sort of blurred the lines or erased the line altogether of what amateurism was for college sports. So kids that were getting paid in Canadian Junior can now get paid in college. So you've had a lot of guys move over this year, a lot of guys from the Western League, Roger McQueen being one of them, as well as potential number 1 draft pick next year, Gavin McKenna, who will be at Penn State. So Roger McQueen, kind of the second highlight of that group of guys, the first drafted guy, highest drafted guy so far to move over. He goes to Providence, and what the difference between playing in college and junior is in junior, you're playing a real professional schedule. You're playing about 60 games, especially in the Western League. It's a lot of very long bus rides all across Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, all that sort of stuff. And they do have, yes, they have their own weight training facilities. They have their own weight training programs, but he's not going to have the time to do that. And he's playing against 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Now he goes to college where he can play against 18, 19, 20-year-olds and also get that time during the week to get a weight training program, get a proper physical therapy program to strengthen his back, because he did come back from the back injury last season and he ended up getting a strain in his back, kind of most people think overcompensating for the back injury. College, you only play games on the weekends usually. There's only 40 games. He'll have more time to build himself up in a proper weight training facility and play in a more pro-friendly system. The coach there, I think his name is Nate Lehman. He preaches a aggressive forechecking style where you got to cover all ends of the ice and you got to forecheck hard, which is music to Pat Verbeek and Joel Quenneville's ears. So all of that taking in, I think this is the right move for him from a physical standpoint, and maybe in terms of getting himself ready for the NHL sooner than even the Ducks had anticipated.
Jack, you're a big college hockey guy. Sorry he didn't become a Sun Devil. That would have been real nice and easy on you. But
that would have been sick. Yeah.
That would have been really freaking fun. Actually, Jack. Sorry for the world. That would have been awesome.
I would have gotten a McQueen ASU jersey like instantly. Yeah.
I think I would have too. No lie. I do have a Sun Devils hockey sweater. I've got one somewhere.
They're pretty clean. Pretty clean.
Jack, thoughts on this? I mean, I think Zach hit it really well, is that this does matter, especially development-wise. It's a financial gain. It's a development process. Do you want to see a guy playing 60 games against a bunch of kids, or do you want to see a guy playing a little bit more organized game against people that he is the kid? He's the baby.
Yeah. And Zach hit on most of it. The basis of the question is, would you rather have him play more games, get more reps, or build up his body? And I think right now the most important thing is building up his body, because everyone knows he's got the natural skill. It's going to translate once, he gets more games under his belt, but he needs to build his body up first. So that part makes sense. It's the interesting part about going to Providence is the scouting reports are, they, forechecking team, this and that, whatever. They played a series against ASU last year, which I had to cover, and watching those games, they are a suffocating team on defense. Most of their games are 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins. It's very low scoring. They suffocate you on defense. They don't allow you any room out on the ice in the offensive zone. They kill breakouts. They are one of the best defensive teams in the nation in college hockey. Maybe that's another reason why they like him going to Providence. He can learn defensive skills and defensive traits, because we know obviously that the offense is going to be there for him. So this could be a good chance for him to really round out his complete game as well.
Sorry, I just got a text. I agree, 100%. The one thing I thought about as we were kind of moving through a few of these things, I watch a lot of college hockey just naturally on a Tuesday, Wednesday night. It's on whatever network, right? Big Ten Network, ESPN half the time, sometimes Valley Sports. Thomas,
Providence will be on ESPN Plus a lot.
Right. Thomas, thinking about this, because you do college sports, you cover college sports for the Sporting Tribune here. Having that as an avenue to build your brand, the Ducks have to be happy about this, because people are going to – I know that college hockey is a little bit of a niche thing, but it's becoming less of a niche thing, becoming more of a national thing. I imagine Roger McQueen could be a household name before he even steps foot with the Ducks. And maybe ESPN and ESPN, I know I discredit the Mouse a ton, but ESPN, ESPNU, Big Ten Network, etc., they could make him into a star. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. Especially because of what you're already seeing kind of happening in college sports. I mean, Caitlin Clark, perfect example at Iowa. She was already a household name. She was the face of of women's basketball as a whole before she even stepped foot in the WNBA. And you saw the same thing last year with Juju Watkins over at USC. She was the face of college basketball, and unfortunately, she blew out her ACL in the March Madness tourney, if I'm correct. And that's going to derail her coming into the pros a little bit longer now. But I mean, I think just everything you see with NIL, and over at UCLA, we got a really big NIL, one of the historic NIL moments of Nico Ima-Lovea over there. Who's, I think, in high school he was already a net worth of $8 million or so. I think just in today's world of college sports, though, NIL is seeing how much money these guys, these athletes can make and where they're headed. It's really changed the game, and you could see him as like the poster boy. And I do want to add something else, just going back to my time living in Denver. The one thing that I talked to a lot of fans out there who were Colorado Avalanche fans, and they all told me before the Avalanche were as good as they are now, the team that ran Denver and still kind of does is Denver University. And I mean, more people were showing up. I think more people actually showed up for the DU parade. Not the last time they won the championship, but the one before that. I think they told me more people showed up for that than even the Avalanche's Stanley Cup. So it just kind of shows like how prominent college hockey is in areas across the country. And when you think of somewhere like Providence, who doesn't really have any representation other than Massachusetts,
I mean, you have the
Providence.
AHL. You have the
Providence
AHL.
Providence is in Hockey East, which is kind of like the premier college hockey conference with BU and BC. And, they'll tell you. And I don't think that they were the best college hockey conference last season.
They think so.
I think they were a little overrepresented in the tournament. Maybe ASU should have made the tournament. I don't know. But he's going to get a platform, certainly, to be marketed, because hockey, yes, they're on ESPN Plus, but those games do trickle onto ESPN more than the Big Ten games do, more than any of the other conferences do. So he will get there. And when it comes to NIL, you don't think people are like all these college level fans are going to buy McQueen t-shirts if he starts selling them on RogerMcQueen.com
with a Lightning McQueen on the front?
Sure. Lightning bolts, whatever. He's wearing 29, so no 95.
But I think Thomas,
could he have a NIL sponsorship with Disney? And I'm actually being serious. That could be a thing.
In theory, he could.
Yeah.
In theory, he could.
Yeah, I don't know if they would go all the way to do that, but in theory.
No, because so ESPN could do like a Lightning McQueen segment because they own the rights to cars, so they could do like a Lightning McQueen thing as an ESPN bit with Roger McQueen. They could do that. They have all the licensing to do it. You mentioned something, Thomas, and I want to mention it too. It is up until 3 years ago, I probably could have told you one WNBA player from the last 25 years, and her name was Diana Taurasi, and that she's obviously a legend, right? Diana Taurasi is a legend, but like the last 3-4 years, I probably know 5-6 WNBA players at this point. I don't find women's basketball entertaining. It's not that it's not a bad. It's a sport. It's a legitimate thing. It's just not entertaining. But like I know more because of where college has come from. I know Sophia Cunningham, Cameron Brain, Caitlin Clark, the chick that went to LSU. Not chick, the woman that went to LSU.
Angel Reese.
Exactly. It's like but it's not because I know that. Maybe Cameron Brink more because she's a spark and locally. But like I know these women because of their college careers. That is an avenue that hockey can take with the way that obviously media, ESPN in particular, pushed WNBA, pushed women's college basketball. They have an avenue to push college hockey right now as well. And I think that Roger McQueen could be at the forefront of that. And you guys all met him. I mean, the three of you guys met him. He's a nice kid. He's got some personality. He could be... Let him be himself. Yeah. Let him be a personality, and let him grow his own brand. And suddenly, Roger McQueen is going to be Lightning McQueen down in Anaheim.
Yeah, I will say I think Roger McQueen was probably one of the friendliest people I've ever met in sports. And that's not to especially not discrediting the Ducks all, because I thought everyone was like super nice, when we go in the locker room last year. But he was just like really, really like approachable, really, really nice and talkative.
Quite impressive for as young as he is to be
Zach,
calm as he was with us.
Zach, you and I talked about this yesterday. Hockey players are boring, right? When you put a microphone in front of them, they're just boring people. Yep. But if you let these kids have their personalities, especially when they're in college, it makes them even, college is a great time to grow as a human being, and you can express a lot of personality in a good way.
I think we're starting to see a little bit more of that too. Like, I think a lot of these college kids that are coming in, whether it's Macklin Celebrini, for example, I think you're starting to see a bit more of their. Even Celebrini's still a little boring, but he still has a little bit more going for him than some of these guys that have been in the league for too long.
He's pretty cool. You know why? Because the future Vancouver Canuck, Macklin Celebrini. Because he's from Vancouver. That's why he's got personality. It's a great place.
You gotta hang on to some hope, I guess, don't you?
Something. Ugh.
Yeah. For when Quinn Hughes goes to New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. The next 10 years of Vancouver Canucks hockey looks great. Last thoughts here. We have a Radko Gudas update, and in a way, we have a Mason McTavish update. Jack, what's the update on Mason McTavish? Still muted. Still muted.
I said, I don't know. Still not signed. That's all I got.
That is the Mason McTavish update for the day. Zach, nothing going on, right?
Can't confirm.
Yeah, can't confirm. Mason McTavish still working towards a contract. He's not getting traded. It just happens to be August 15th, and there's nothing going into hockey, so people have to create some crap. It's simple as that.
And honestly, I feel like people have finally turned off the trade machine valve for him because they think everybody understands at this point that if he was going to be offer sheeted, he would have already, and if they did offer sheet him, the Ducks would sign him instantaneously. There's no discussion to be had if he was offer sheeted. Trading him, there's no point trading him because they want to keep him and they need him at this point. Who else are you going to get that's going to replace him at this point in the
Trevor Zegras
offseason? Well, okay. But yeah, it's will it drag on into training camp? He's got roughly 30 days, so I don't think so based on conversations I've had. But nobody's reporting anything here. Just it feels like it'll get done, but if it doesn't, I don't feel like it'll drag on all that long.
All my notes said was
it's just a term
McTavish nonsense.
Yeah,
all it said was McTavish nonsense. Zach, real quick, Radko Gudas update. Rookie face-off coming up here in about 3 weeks. 4 weeks, I guess. 4 weeks. Anything going on Ducks-wise that we have?
Yeah, Radko did a interview with NHL Czechia. So all these quotes were translated. But basically what he said was there was some rumors coming out of the Czech media late last year that he was going to opt for surgery in the offseason for something with his knee. He was asked, the Ducks denied it immediately to Derek Lee of the Hockey News. We asked Radko about it in the locker room, and he said nothing's going on. Get to the offseason, and now he says that, yes, there was a knee issue, and that instead of surgery, they opted for rehab. And he says he feels great now. So whether that means that it's actually healed or not, I don't know. But it's clear that there was something off with his play last year. He was down. So all anybody can hope is that it healed properly and that he can get back to the form he was 2 years ago, because that's the guy the Ducks need to take those leap forward. You don't want your captain to be your least reliable defenseman, and that's what he ended up being at some points. He did help out Jackson Lacombe's growth last season. I really do believe that. But if you're going to have Jackson Lacombe, Radko Gudas as a top pairing sort of thing again, you can't have Radko be lost in transition like he was at times, because clearly his mobility was affected. So hopefully that turns out okay. And then for the rookie face-off, yeah. Go ahead.
I still believe the Ducks should have improved right shot defense this summer.
Yeah, I think there just wasn't the market for it. And I think if they're going to,
I don't think it would have taken a lot.
No, but I think what they're really kind of counting on, at least in the defensive core, is I think they're really looking forward to see what Tristan Luneau does on the right side in camp if he can earn his way onto the roster, which would be a kind of a boon, and it would still make the Ducks defense very young, and young defense can kind of get eaten up in this league at times because they're still learning some of the cues, but I think that's a way to go for them. And then, like you mentioned, the rookie face-off. Yeah, next month, I believe it's the 12th, 13th, 14th. Anaheim Ice, Ducks, Kings, and Sharks playing in the Golden State rookie face-off. They split up the rookie tournaments. Games are all at Great Park Ice. They are $15 general admission, $10 for season ticket holders, and all games will be available on Victory Plus without any regional restrictions. So if you're a fan outside of the Southern California area, you'll be able to watch these rookie games. So basically means a little under a month before we're back at Great Park Ice and watching some Ducks skate around.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Bow and tie on this thing. Any Angels stuff that we missed? Any Duck stuff that we missed?
The only thing I got to add is a quick little piece on Radko. He did a podcast, or a Czech podcast the other day, and I saw a translated version of it. And one thing I found interesting was he got asked how long would he like to play, and his answer was, as long as my body can handle it, I still enjoy it. Summer training hurts more. The start of the season's longer than 10 years ago. So far, everything is working. I will be happy if I stay in the NHL for another year or two. If not, there's always good hockey in Europe. I love the locker room. My friends who have finished say, play as long as you enjoy it. It may happen in a year. I will find out that I will want a different lifestyle, different league. And yeah, so I just found that interesting.
That is interesting because he has 1 year left on his deal. And he's
35. Already.
In that NHL Czechia interview, he said that they haven't even discussed signing an extension at all. Not because he doesn't want it or not because the team. He just said he said that there's other priorities for the team to accomplish, and it's not important to either side yet. So whether that means that they'll talk about it during the season or more likely Pat Verbeek doesn't give extensions ahead of time. So if he's going to be a Duck again, it won't be done till next summer.
And he's going to be 36. Also once the contract ends. So
36, coming off a bum knee, see how it responds this year, and he may go back to Czechia for all we know. But it's the unfortunate thing with all this is, like, if he wasn't named the captain last year, if they had either just held on or gave it to one of the young kids, I don't think this would be as much of a concern to anybody. But because he is the captain, there's more focus put on him. And rightfully so, and that's leads to more responsibility and more want from people to perform at a certain level, and keep him around too. Because you don't just name a guy a captain and trade him immediately or anything like that. So
could have improved your right shot D. Just go with that. If it wasn't for your captain. On that note, guys, let's just play wrap up. There's a few things I want to really hit on here, but let's do dumb nothing game before we end it. Jack James, what was your favorite band in high school? Rock band.
Foo
Favorite
Fighters.
rock band in high school?
Foo Fighters.
Zach?
Foo Fighters, as Christopher Walken once said.
Yeah, I love that. Avenged Sevenfold in high school.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Did not expect that. Thomas?
Yeah, it was my favorite band when I was 5 years old and still is to this day and probably shaped my personality to who I am, Blink-182.
That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Big Rise Against guy. Just go with Rise Against.
That's a good choice.
Yep. Somber-ish note. Jack James. It's been amazing having you with us the last year, doing Angel stuff, doing Duck stuff. You are going to go become a big boy.
Of your life.
A big boy. Yeah. See, screw Blink-182. It's a Green Day. Good riddance. Different kind of thing. Jack's going to take off, go get his master's at Arizona State, Cronkite School of Journalism. Just want to make a mention. Just really, really proud of you, man. Really proud of you. You put forth a lot of hard work, and you've done great work for the Sporting Tribune. So just want to send you off with a big old thank you. Thanks, man. Really proud of you. Really proud of what you've done, and go continue making us proud.
Yeah,
So.
thank you. This has been a blast last year. It's not like I'm gone forever. I'm going for one more semester and then I'm done. So I'll be back in December. But I'll still be obviously doing this podcast, watching all Angels and Ducks games, and I'll be tweeting and stuff like that. So I'll still be active. Just probably won't have any articles out. But yeah.
But you'll certainly be reading our articles, right?
Yes.
It feels like this reminds me of like Blue's Clues when Steve left and they brought in that John Mayer looking guy. We don't have a John Mayer looking replacement for you, man. So
yeah,
sorry about
it's tough
that.
to find John Mayer looking people.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Every kid grew up with like a blue dog in their life. What was it? I can't even remember what it was. It was Huckleberry Hound, and then Blue from Blue's Clues, and then Bluey. Bluey's legit. Bluey is legit.
Bluey's legit.
Bluey's awesome.
I'm a fan. Very much a fan of Bluey. I was a big fan of Blue's Clues too. Blue was great. On that, guys, Jack, we're proud. Zach, Thomas, I'm proud of you guys too. I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks, man.
Not as much as I am a Jack. I like Jack a whole lot more.
You guys just have to leave for a little bit, and then he'll say nice things.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Good to know you have a favorite child, Taylor. That's
yeah. Well, on that note, what weekend plans here? I know, right? Weekend plans. Thomas, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I got a bonfire to go to tonight, and then I'm going to go to lovely UCLA football practice tomorrow.
Oh,
is it going to be 8 minutes?
I hope it's something.
If you're unfamiliar with that, I found out yesterday that UCLA football practice is really crappy to cover. So, Zach Kavanaugh, weekend plans, my dude.
I was trying to rack my brain if I had any. I don't think I do.
Yeah,
because the bed that we ordered doesn't arrive till next week, so I'm not building that this weekend.
That's right.
That's
go see what.
So you know what that means. Zach is going to be ready for a Mason McTavish update. He is going to be scanning Twitter, scanning the worldwide internet. As soon as that news drops, Zach is on it.
You know what?
Zach is sleeping on the couch, but not for the reasons you think.
No, we just put the because the IKEA beds, they have those like wooden slat things that like hold up the mattress. So we have those on the ground with the mattress on top of that, and it's much lower to the ground than you expect it to be.
Just make a chair tent, man. Take the 2 chairs, throw a blanket over top, sleeping bag.
Get an air bed.
Yeah, it's
says the college kid.
Yeah, dude, you're back to
I'd sleep on carpet.
He's already left us, man. He's committed.
The amount of things I slept on in college and woke up the next day feeling absolutely fine. Yeah.
Dude, okay, I will say, yesterday
State.
I went to the batting cages with my friend just to mess around. I haven't taken like consistent swings since I stopped playing 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I woke up today feeling like I got in a car accident.
Sure.
My back and my
our little boy is growing
trunk,
up. Our little boy is going off to college and getting hurt just from physical activity. Oh,
yeah.
It's okay, dude. That's why I've been doing this. It's because I threw a baseball 2 days ago and it didn't go well. Jag, what do you got for the weekend, man? You out of here? You leave on Monday?
I leave Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
That's the least amount of traffic. So
what are we doing Friday and Saturday?
So Friday today, I had to give a shout out. 4-year anniversary with my girlfriend. Shout out her. She's pretty cool for putting up with me the last 4 years. So we're going to San Clemente.
Nice.
I see that, Taylor. We're going to San Clemente.
The clapping.
Yeah. We're gonna go to dinner, check out the sunset in San Clemente by the pier. That'll be nice. Tomorrow, Saturday, got my cousin's birthday, and then Sunday, head back to Arizona.
Good on you, man. Make sure she doesn't watch this episode before sunset. No, I know. I gotta tease them. Good deal, man.
That's for you, Jeff.
Thank you.
That's fun. On that note, probably go fishing. I think I got a fishing weekend ahead. So for that, wrap on the Ryan Kessler episode. Jack Janes, you guys can follow him on social at JackJanes_. Zach Kavanaugh, you can follow him on socials at Zachcav, ZACHCAV. Thomas Murray, you can follow him, Thomas_L_Murray. Not Tommy, but Thomas. You can follow me at Taylorblakeward. For Wings on Katella, I'm not going to throw this baseball. I don't know. I don't have any paper, so fake it. Have a great weekend, everybody. See ya. We're out of here. Bye. Go away. Go home. Go to bed.